Hello, grade 6 students, future junior high students of St. Matthew School. My name is Mrs. Knox. I'm the counselor at St. Matthew, and I wanted to send this video out to you to say welcome to St. Matthew, and we can't wait to see you in the fall, and get you excited a little bit about junior high and maybe get rid of some stress that you might have about entering into a new school, a new period of your education. So I'm going to go through the top 10 stress busting hacks for transitioning to junior high that I think will be helpful for you. So if you'd like to grab a pen and paper to jot some notes while I go through, that is up to you. First of all, I would like to introduce our administration team. We have 3 wonderful ladies who are going to guide you and lead you through the year. Our principal, Madame Kit, right here, who you may have met at the open house this year, as well as our vice principal, Madame Caruana, and our assistant principal, Madame Adair, is new to the school next year, just like you. They are a wonderful group of ladies, and I think you're really going to enjoy working with them in grade 7. So the road in September right now is a little uncertain, and that can be tricky as we think ahead and we're not sure exactly what school's going to look like. But please know that whatever it looks like, your teachers and your principal and vice principal and assistant principal, everybody is going to look out for you. And if we are back in the classrooms, they're going to make sure that you're feeling connected, that you're feeling good with meeting new people and are introduced to people. So don't worry too much about the first day of school because right now there's no point in worrying. We don't really know what it's going to look like. And we'll go on this journey together. So God is very important in our lives and in our school, and God needs to come first. So before we talk about anything in junior high, I want to remind you that God leads us and God has a plan for us. And so although we don't know what that plan is, we need to trust that God knows what's best for us. And God has led us through this pandemic and will continue to lead us. And so my hope for you is that your faith grows in junior high and that you have a relationship with God because God is your creator and really leads everything that we do. It's normal to feel a little bit anxious when we're about to start something new. Adults feel that, teachers who are new to schools feel that. And so if you feel like when you think about junior high, you get a nervous feeling in the pit of your stomach, that's completely normal. And part of that is just your body doesn't know exactly what to expect. I always say to kids, just give it the first week and you'll feel like you're right at home. And I'm usually right about that. So maybe think about your top 3 questions or worries going into junior high. And if I don't answer them in this presentation, your teacher will have my email and you can certainly email me. And I'm happy to talk to you about anything or give you answers that you have about your year next year. So stress buster hack number 1, from day 1, be wise and commit to staying organized. This is huge in junior high because you are going to have different classes, different teachers, more so than you did in grade 6. And so you need to make sure you're keeping your binders organized and neat. The top picture there is what we don't want to see, because if you have a disorganized locker, then everything seems to just get out of whack really fast. So you want to keep your locker neat. You want to have organized binders. You will be getting copies of your schedule, and it's a good idea to keep those in your locker and in your binder so that you always know what's coming up because you will be moving from class to class. Getting an agenda in the summer might be a good idea because the school doesn't provide those. And I find that even though we use an electronic way to track homework, for a lot of kids, it really helps to write things down. And if you have an agenda with you as you travel from class to class, you can write down exactly what you need to do and That way you don't forget. So I really highly recommend you doing that. And the last bullet there says, ask for help if you need it. That's really important that you get help when needed. Teachers are there to support you. They want to help you. They want to see you be successful. And all of your teachers know it's a bit of a transition into grade 7. They understand. So an organized locker is key. Some kids like to get the locker organizers, which does give you a little bit more space. You don't need to get these, it's optional. But I do find if you have a few different levels in your locker, then it's easier to keep books, binders, all the different things, your gym strip that you need to keep in there. Some people like to put a mirror on their locker because in junior high, you might start to care a little more about how you look. Make sure there's nothing in your teeth after lunch, no lettuce from your sandwich, that kind of thing. So again, that's all up to you. This is an example of what the schedule will look like in junior high. So you will have day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, day 6. The day 7 is a mistake. There will be no day 7. So ignore that. And you can see the class times up there. So classes are about 40 minutes long, just over 40 minutes. And then you switch. Some days you'll have double. So you might have 2 maths on a day 2 or 2 language arts on a day 3. But that's why you get a copy of this so that you can keep track. Stress buster hack number 2, put thought into the friends you pick. This way, they will be sure to stick. This is very important from day 1. You need to think about what kind of friend you want to have and what a good friend is to you. And making a list isn't such a bad idea. So over on the right there, we've got examples of healthy and unhealthy friendships. And I always say to kids that a good friend should make you feel good about yourself when you're in their presence. And you should feel like you can be yourself around a good friend. So you want to make an effort to meet new people, trust your intuition, and find people that are going to support who you are and what you believe in and the choices that you make when they're good choices. Okay, someone that you can be honest with. Stress buster hack number 3, set goals that are reachable for you. Everyone is different, so remember that too. We all have different strengths and different weaknesses. And sometimes we want to compare ourselves to other people, and we might set goals that aren't really realistic for ourselves, just like this snake trying to eat the alligator or crocodile in this photo. You have to know yourself and what is reasonable for you to achieve. And so I always say to people, fair doesn't mean equal. Sometimes kids will have different expectations from teachers, or they will have different goals or different marks that they think are excellent for themselves, and that's fair, but it might not be equal all the time. And so you need to think about what kinds of marks you want to achieve, not comparing yourself to friends, planning to try out for sports teams. These are some goals you might want to think about. So are sports your thing? Because if they're not, and you're not comfortable with sports, well, maybe you want to set a goal of trying something new, but there'll also be other opportunities in junior high to join other teams and clubs. Think about things that you want to improve and take some time to reflect, because the nice thing about grade 7 is that you get to start fresh. You're at a new school. You get to completely start off on a clean slate. So think about some goals that you might want to set for yourself in grade 7. One idea when you're setting goals is to use this SMART goals strategy. So to be very specific, that's what the S stands for. So for example, I want to be more active in grade 7. The M stands for something measurable. So something you can look back and see if you actually were able to do it. So an example to go with that specific goal would be, I will engage in some kind of physical activity for 30 minutes, at least 4 times a week. Make sure it's achievable and reasonable. So that might be achievable because you know you can do it right after school. Goals need to be realistic. So if you know you've been spending a lot of time gaming and you're going to feel better with doing some exercise, and that's something that you really want to change in your life, then that's a realistic goal for you. And timely, you can set a deadline. So maybe I will begin the last week in August to take part in this. So that's a good guideline to follow. It's called SMART goals. And if you didn't copy it down in time, you can just Google that and see what each letter stands for. Number 4, accept that there will be homework at night. Plan ahead so that deadlines aren't tight. So you will have homework in grade 7. French immersion is a little bit more homework than maybe you're used to, but that's why you're taking on that challenge, is probably because you're someone who can handle a little bit of extra work. So some tips are avoid letting the work pile up. So don't procrastinate. If you have homework, schedule it in, get it done so that you don't have things day after day piling up so that you feel stressed. There's lots of extra help at St. Matthew. There are teachers who stay in at lunchtime to help kids, lots of them. You can book appointments with teachers. I have to say, it's the best staff that way. These teachers do everything to help you succeed. Set aside time each night to do your homework, and you can kind of make it fun by creating a comfortable study space, which we'll talk about as well. Finding a place in your house that's comfortable, that has good lighting, not a lot of noise. You want to take time to organize that space and have materials that you will need. No phone in your study space is a good idea so that you're not distracted. And having a glass of water handy so you can stay hydrated. And I always tell kids, pretend it's like your office area, and be proud and sit up straight and do your work and do it so that you're proud of it. And believe it or not, the environment where you do your homework is going to really influence how you feel about the work that you're doing. Okay, and if you're sitting there and you get stuck at night, then the next day you go straight to your teacher and get some help so that, again, that doesn't snowball. Number 5, stress buster hack. Know some ways to manage your stress. This way you will worry less. So we don't want you looking like that cat in the picture. That cat has waited too long and is now feeling really stressed out. So think about things that you can do to minimize stress. So self-talk is very important. What we tell our minds and say to ourselves really influences our thoughts and how we feel and how we behave. So one idea you can start now is writing down positive phrases that you can say to yourself every morning. I am brave. I will be okay. I will ask for help when needed. I got this. I will be successful. If you repeat those kinds of things to yourself, it really does help you to stay more optimistic and less stressed. Take assignments one step at a time. Connect with teachers for clarity. Prepare for exams. Keep up with your work is very important. You should be getting about 10 hours of sleep a night. So if you're getting up at 7, that means going to bed at about 9. Your brains need that rest in order to function the next day. If you don't get enough sleep, we all know what that feels like. You get dizzy, you're not focused, you're irritable and grumpy. So that's really important. And seeing the counselor for ideas if you do find that you're getting stressed out. I will be at a different school next year, but you're going to have a new counselor, Mrs. Wicks, at St. Matthew, and she will be there for you if you're finding that you feel overwhelmed. That's a nice thing about going to a junior high is there's a counselor right in the school who's there to help, and she'll be introducing herself to you. There's lots of meditation apps out there you can get to help your body calm down. Using the breath is an important part of meditation, and I always tell people just breathing, doing belly breathing, and getting in the practice to do that when your body's feeling anxious can go a long way, but you do have to practice for it to be effective. So maybe think about some of the things that might cause you stress, and if there's anything at the end of the presentation that you're really feeling I didn't address or that you're worried about, again, you can email me and I'll get back to you, maybe with some strategies. Because anything you're feeling, I can tell you you're not the only one. Everybody going into junior high has some little thing that's causing them a bit of worry or stress. It's just a normal thing because you're going to a new school. When you're in grade 7, some of the physical symptoms that you might notice are listed here if you're feeling stressed, and this is why we want to be proactive and not let ourselves get like that picture of the cat, because all of these things can happen. It's very related to health, our physical health and emotional health. Okay, so you need to stay on top of monitoring your own body. Emotional symptoms as well, when we're feeling really stressed out, are listed here. And we can start to go into a downward spiral if we don't have strategies and ways to help and people to support us. And that can also influence our behavior and our sleep and how we relate to other people. So it's really important when you're feeling off to get the help that you need, and there will be lots of it for you. Stress buster hack number 6, take time to practice self-care in order to stay healthy. This is only fair. So you need to work hard in grade 7, but you also need to have fun and engage in behaviors that bring you joy and happiness and lots of laughter outside of school. So taking that time for you and connecting with others, exercising, being with friends, all those extracurricular things you do are really, really important. We need to have balance in our lives. And if you find that your life is becoming all fun stuff and no work, or all work and no fun stuff, you got to kind of reevaluate and say, where could I put more effort in? And sometimes we need to put more effort into the fun part of life, so that it's not all work. Number 7, stress buster hack is when you're with friends or all alone, make wise choices on your phone. This is huge in junior high when people are on social media. We run into situations every year where people are making wonderful choices on their phones, on social media, in text messages. And we also encounter times when people don't really think through what they're posting or what they're texting. And so this is something that you really need to think about, is that our friendships don't start online. You shouldn't be really forming close friendships with strangers or even talking to them online, even if it's in video games. It's just not a safe thing to do. Posting photos of others without their permission, never a good idea. If you can't look a person in the face to say what you would write, don't write it. Now, this is big. And if I could give you one piece of advice for your phone, that would be it. Okay, don't write things impulsively. So if you're angry at someone or frustrated at someone, we really need to pause and think, what is the best way to go about this? Because when you text it, it's there forever. It can be shown to other people, it can be taken out of context, and it can cause problems. And you need to think, what would my parents think if they saw this? There are a lot of behaviors on phones that are against the law, and you need to know that. And there'll be more presentations and talk about that in the fall. But things like posting inappropriate pictures or threatening people online are you're getting into criminal activities sometimes. And so we all have a responsibility not to do that, but also to report it if we see it happening. Okay, so we expect grade 7s to be leaders and And when you see things on phones that might be hurtful to other people, speak up, because it's your community that you're creating and we want everybody to feel really safe. So speak up when you see evidence of bullying or behavior that doesn't align with our Catholic values, or if you get that feeling in the pit of your stomach that you know something is wrong, it's usually right. So I suggest listening to that. And if you're ever not sure, you can go to the counselor at the school, and she will keep your privacy. If you're more comfortable with that, if you need to let her know that something's going on that you're feeling uneasy about. So I like that quote that says, whenever one person stands up and says, wait a minute, this is wrong, it helps other people to do the same. So you can choose to be a leader or a follower. And when you're a leader, other people will follow that. So that's what we're really looking for in our grade 7s that are coming next year. Stress buster hack number 8, use D2L every day. It's a great resource, I must say. So D2L is a way that homework is tracked and your marks are tracked. Your teachers will introduce you to this in September and you'll learn all about it. It's really important that you use it, that you log into it, that you show your parents. So you'll be able to see all your marks all the time. You'll be able to send emails. You'll be able to see what's posted in different subjects for homework and test dates and all of that. So it's a nice way to keep organized along with your agenda. Okay, so just some points I think I just mentioned about the communication. So you want to use that. Number 9, regular attendance is a must. I think you already know this. I already trust. So being at school is important. If you miss a day, it's really important that you find someone that you know or connect with the teacher to get the work that you missed, and again, stay on top of it because it can really pile up if you miss a few days. Establish a morning routine so that you're not going to be late for school. If you're taking the bus, know when that bus comes, be out there a few minutes early, make sure you're going to bed on time. Parents will need to phone the school if you're absent. And if you're late, you will come to the front office and get a late slip that you bring to class so that we can keep track of lates. And if we're finding that you're late a lot, we will reach out to see how we can help you to be on time. When your classes change, if you're moving from one class to another, I really suggest that you focus on getting to the next class and not socializing with your friends, because that's the difference in junior high, is things are going to move quicker. So you'll have math, the bell will go, next you'll have social, and you have to be in there quickly and ready to learn, and the class starts. The teachers don't have as much flexibility with continuing past the bell time if they didn't get everything done, because you have your next class. So they like you to be in the class on time and ready to learn. And number 10 is important. It's saying that you need to take responsibility for all that you do. The way your year goes is all up to you. And this is really true. You have the power right now to decide how your grade 7 year is going to go. And you can start thinking about that now. It's not too early. And keeping in mind all of those things I just talked to you about, what kind of friends you're going to have, what kind of marks you want to have, how you're going to take ownership for your learning. So you can make things happen. You can be in control of what you do. You can look forward to different lunch clubs that teachers offer, more freedom and trust, sports teams. I put puberty because it's true. Everybody in junior high looks different. Everybody's going through puberty at different rates. And that's just the great thing about junior high, is you're changing. You're kind of in that transition, moving towards young adults. And we respect everybody's differences in junior high. We also have different teachers in classrooms, options to choose from, lockers. We have spirit days, just like you probably did in elementary, but you might be able to be more a part of planning some of the spirit days in junior high. Different celebrations, sometimes dances. You get to be the example setters for the school. There's leadership opportunities for junior high kids. Concession stand called the Bear Bistro that we have. There's eating in different places. Now, I do want to say, because of COVID, some of these things might look different. We're not entirely sure how the year is going to look. So I'm basing some of these items off of this past year, but there's definitely more freedom and things to look forward to at lunchtime and whatnot. We'll have to see in the fall exactly how that will look. So some of the clubs and activities that have been offered at the school are listed here. Lots of sports teams. And then a lot of the teachers really want to give kids variety of things to do at lunch. So this year we had things like Games Club, Saints Club, Art Club, Homework Club, if you need to catch up on homework, Guitar Club. So teachers really try to give students options at lunchtime so that you can find something that interests you and makes you happy and spend your time maybe doing that. And if you have an idea for a club, I know Madame Kit would be open to hearing it. If there's a club that you had at your school that you'd maybe like to see happening, or if you have a new idea as well. So questions and comments, I can't really do with you because this is a recording. But if there is anything that you would like to share with me, that you're wondering, that you're worried about, that you have questions about, or that you want the counselor next year to know about you, you can certainly connect with me through email and I will get back to you. So I will make sure your teacher has that. So that's it for my presentation, and I just want to say thank you for paying attention. I hope that gave you a little more information about St. Matthew, and we're so excited that you're coming in the fall, and I hope that you're excited. And remember positive self-talk through the whole summer. That's going to help you to feel better about coming to see us. So good luck with the rest of your year, and good job on managing the whole COVID pandemic. It has not been easy. I'm sure your teachers are very proud of you. Thank you.